AMS Blackbird back at it yet again with another 700 pp tune and build giveaway. This is a personal favorite of mine, the 2006 Ford GT. 625 horsepower, 2,926 pounds. Although I described it as a medium to long track car, this is drivable mostly anywhere, but it does become difficult at lower speeds, which I'll elaborate upon later in the video. The tune and build is located after the driving footage. The design itself is based off of 80s Trans Am Mustangs. I ran this car a lot in GT Sport with this livery on a Group 3 Ford GT. It is available on my page. Please note the hashtags, and as always, this design carries the proper aero and rim setup. On the difficulty scale, I'd rate this car a 6 out of 10. For an MR car, it is not nimble. Movements and transitions need to be planned. You do definitely feel the weight of the vehicle, as well as it has a very heavy drivetrain without having a clutch installed. Power is exceptional. Just be ready for some corner exit oversteer. Keep your foot in the throttle and fight it. The car will reward you. This engine loves to be pushed deep into the red line. Shoot for a shift point around 8,750 RPM from first to second, second to third, and third to fourth, and then fourth to fifth, and fifth to sixth, shift at 8,500. As was the case with the GT350, you can over-rev this engine for stability on corner exits, sacrificing a little bit of speed. So here's a couple quick hints. Get ahead and stay ahead. This GT launches among the best of rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars at 700 pp. Send it out of turns. The key to speed for this vehicle is to get the power down and stay in it. Even if it breaks loose, fight it and keep moving forward. This car can get slick at low speeds, feel it out at first. And do not push the brakes. Not much is to be gained in the braking zones. The following footage is some wicked times all around. This is one of the best sleeper cars at 700 pp. Enjoy it. So the tune of this vehicle is pretty run-of-the-mill, but in light of recent events, speed can be found by raising the front camber from -3 to -4.5 degrees. For greater detail explaining the reasoning and as to why this is faster, please check out the tuning section of the GT350 video on my page. This build does leave some power on the table because I refuse to have this car sound like a dustbuster. If you experiment with a racing exhaust, there's a horsepower or two left in the vehicle. You can experiment for more if you'd like. So what's next? We're going retro, old school, 80s turbo insanity in the form of a Ferrari F40. This is the hardest car I have to drive in my garage, and it's one of the hardest vehicles I've ever driven in all the Gran Turismo games. It's very hard to get any speed out of this car. Tons of effort, tons of work. I look forward to this one. As always, please check out the fellow AMS member channels. Later.